Okay, let's continue discussing the excellence of Puzzle Strike while we try to get to the Pisco Demons. I am considering fighting Astos first, who actually might be easier with this party since there's a lot of healing. But we don't have the shell spell, and it could be the case that in the long run Astos just wears us down. On the other hand, I wouldn't be surprised if the Pisco Demons, well, they just kick your ass. Okay, so the second unique selling point of Puzzle Strike is the scoring system. Most collectible card games, deck building games, they go a bit flat during the end. I mean, by halfway you already have an idea who's going to win, because they're doing all the neat combos and getting all the good cards. So yeah, you just finish the game, and then just to make sure you count all the cards. Now, in close games, you don't know who's winning. So then the last card is played, and what you then do is count all your cards and points, and one of the players wins. And I find that very anticlimactic. Usually I just feel like, well, whatever, right? Puzzle Strike, on the other hand, has a very exciting scoring system. It's a lot like Tetris. If you've ever played Tetris against another person, you probably found it very exciting. And that's because whenever you make a line, lines are added to your opponent's field. So, yeah, the lines get sent back and forth, and with time it gets harder and harder to stay alive. We're having a hard time running away. I could have killed them twice already. So, yeah, whatever. And now what Puzzle Strike has is that every turn a gem is added to your field. And that's both good and bad. Now if you have too many gems, like in Tetris, you die. Right? At the end of your turn, if you have 10 or more gems, it's over. So you don't want to have too many gems. Now I'm going to focus on this fight for now. Only 4 instead of 5, that's good. Not much to do here. Now, the will spell can help against stuns. The shield spell helps against damage. I'm going to do will first. I'm going to slow them. I don't know if it'll connect, though. And fool, well, you can't do anything, so attack the first. Okay, they're not doing that much damage to the paladin, at least. Okay, so let's hits. Yeah, but that's what I'm. Oh, geez, that means our cleric has been silenced. But that's not the end of the world, because we can have a cleanse, get rid of the mute status. Okay. Now we've casted will. I'm going to cast shield. Stay alive even longer. I'm going to be hesitant to cast Pures. Oh, okay, so it's mute and sleep. Okay, so not silenced. Now the paladin's not going to cast that much magic anyway, so that's fine. I'm going to cast another shield and continue wearing them down. None of them have run away so far. That's good. I'm glad to see that, actually. They do start to run away eventually if you're high enough level. But they shouldn't run away from level 7s. Oops. Okay, that's one down. We're on a roll here. So the point system of Puzzle Strike are these gems that keep entering your field. Now, the more gems you have, the more likely you're going to die. But the more gems you have, the more you can send to your opponent. So the trick is to have as many gems without dying. And that makes every bout exciting. Another reward you get for having gems in your pile is drawing more cards. So, in practice, that means everybody's trying to stay on the verge of death, but winning at the end. And to be honest, about two-thirds of the battles in Puzzle Strike, I do not know who will win until the last turn. It's always very close because the gems keep sending back and forth. It's always exciting. Now, the better player will usually win, not always. It's still a bit of a game of luck, but I've never heard anybody complain about that. There are just so many knobs that you can turn that, in Magic the Gathering, I often feel cheated if I draw too many lands or too little. I don't get that feeling playing Puzzle Strike. Okay, so that went pretty well. Even leveled up. The mutant sleep effects, they go away after the battle, so don't have to clean up. Just checking just to be sure. Yeah, no poison. Let's get out of here. The quickest exit would be here. Good. Now, these fellows are a bit too hard. So, yeah, the last battles, the last couple turns in puzzles are kind of like hot potato, sending gems back and forth, and it's very exciting. Yeah, I can't say that about other deck building games. So the first one was you get to choose a character, playing your own style. Second is the exciting point system. And then finally, there's much more interactivity. Now, the gem system in Puzzle Strike lends itself to more interactivity because you're going to have to take more into account what your opponent can do. They can threaten you with their own gems. You have to keep that in account. So you don't play solo in Puzzle Strike. I mean, you can try, but I would not recommend that if you really want to win, because your opponent will be onto you. They'll change their strategy because you're playing a certain way, and that's the fun part of the game. I mean, every time it's different. If I'm playing Truck and I play against, I don't know, Jaina, extreme example, I'm immediately in the defensive. So, yes, I will try to do my own thing, getting the beast unleashed, but that's dangerous. Doing that against Jaina is different than doing that against, I don't know, Gray, right? So, because of the point system, there's more interactivity. Now, there are also more interactive cards. Just like Dominion, you have red cards, which are curses, and blue cards, which are like counter attacks. And they don't really disrupt each other. Most red cards, they usually kind of make you die earlier, or make you discard a couple of cards, or that you get wound cards, which basically do nothing. A lot of deck building games have cards that just don't do anything, so that you draw cards. You draw them instead of drawing other cards, and it does feel bad, but it doesn't feel that bad because usually by the time you actually have a lot of wounds in your deck, you're drawing a lot of cards anyway, so you're still able to do your thing, just not as efficiently. So red cards, they do all kinds of little nasty things. So some of them are like taking away combined cards, which is pretty much the most annoying thing. But okay, I have 3,000 gold now. Oh yeah, I would love to have the. I changed that in this version, of course. Now the shell spell you do not get until the next town, so we're gonna have to content ourselves with the heal 2 spell, but that's fine. We have no more weapons to sell or armor. Just checking. Yes. So we went to the inn. We don't have any money, so now it's time to try to beat Astos. Will we make it in the 5.5 minutes we have? I think just barely. So buying cards and playing certain cards at certain moments is important in Puzzle Strike. That's what you do according to what your opponent is doing. There are also so-called piggy banks, which will let you keep certain cards in your hand at certain times. And that's where some of the mind games come in. Should I do these? I usually like Stay focused on the boss. Oh, we got lucky. Okay. So, yeah, which cards do you keep in your hand against a certain opponent? Because, yeah, certain cards are more interactive than others. And when I play Puzzle Strike, an important thing is keeping note which cards they have or may not have in their hand and playing according to that. So, yeah, the interactivity is high and way more than any other deck building game. I mean, like you have the DC games like Street Fighter. It's kind of I'm going the wrong way. Ironically, Capcom licensed. Oh, yeah, we don't need these anyway for Astos. Ironically, Capcom licensed the Street Fighter license to the makers of the DC deck building games, even though the maker of Puzzle Strike asked for that. But he didn't get it, so he made his own so-called Fantasy Strike. Fantasy Strike is a brand of characters, and they're in Puzzle Strike, they are in Yomi, they are in Codex, and soon enough there will be a Fantasy Strike fighting game, which I'm looking forward to. So that's all by David Serlin. Check out his games; they're all gold. I'll tell you more a little about some others. But now we have Astos to fight. I will put you here, and I'm going to be a bit meta. I'm going to put the Fool up front, because I don't mind him dying this fight. So, there we go. Let's cast Will. Astos casts Stuns and Poison. We want less of that. And other than that, I don't think we'll be able to connect with Mute. That would be awesome. Yeah, why not? Let's try. Let's see what happens. Ineffective. Okay. Well, if it connects once, it's an automatic win. So that's worth trying, right? Now, our Fool got stunned, but I'm not going to cleanse that. I'm completely fine with that. Now, we've done Will. I want to keep this cure too in case I need it, which I probably will. So we're going to attack. And let's try Mute again. We silenced him. Wow. I guess we just hold down the A button. All right. You know, and I'm kind of surprised. Is actually on the other hand, it is interesting that Astos can be silenced. I mean, he is. He doesn't have a very high. Has he been cured? Did it say cured? I thought it said cured. Okay. I think it's interesting that it's at least worth trying. I mean, this is definitely a major. This is still pretty early in the game, so I kind of like the idea that players can actually use the mute spell, make it so much easier. Now he still does physical attacks, but as you can see, it's not very hard. So yeah, about that. No, I like this. I like. I'm not going to change any of the stats. The first one missed. I'm sure I've played this a lot, and I don't keep notes of that, but I do recall, or at least I imagine that I do recall playtesting this, and I'm pretty sure I would have adjusted the numbers at the time according to how often Mute actually hit. So I bet it's fine. It is tempting though to reset and try again and again and again, but I won't do that to you guys. So as you know, he has a lot of hit points. I balanced him around taking about 200 damage a turn or something. Because, oh, there we go. Got the herb. Now let's change the order. Our party is in practical sense pretty much the same. I mean, the Fool doesn't do much. And we're running out of time. So yeah, check out Puzzle Strike. It's on iTunes. It's on Steam. It's free on iTunes. You get 4 characters or so. You pay like $6 for the for another couple of classes, and for $16 you get the whole package. And same thing with Steam. On the Steam, I think you have to pay $10 to get half the characters, another 10 for that. And check out Serlin's games, Fantasy Strike, David Serlin games. You'll find them. They are all excellent.